You'll never know. Championship live from Paul Ricard. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Jesse Lee joined by Ted Edwards in the booth for round two. And here's what we got on tap for you today. It's a hot one here in France, but otherwise nothing to complain about. The track is hot, and we are ready to go qualifying. Welcome in Ted Edwards, as usual, behind the cameras and on commentary again today. Ted, welcome in. And after what was a drama-filled round number one, a lot of these drivers are just hoping for a more calm and relaxed drive through France today.
Yeah, they sure are, and I don't think they expected these track temps going to be this high, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, LMGT3s only have the medium compound, whereas the Hypercars do have that harder red tyre compound, so we'll see what they do in the race. But it's nice to be back, Jesse, and it's nice to hear your voice again. You're on the microphone. It's been too long, and we've all missed you so much.
Yeah, I can tell. I just want to say to anyone who sent me messages welcoming me sort of back. I didn't really leave. I've always been the guy behind the broadcast, but to be back on commentary after being away for so long, to receive such messages, it's incredibly heartwarming. Thank you to you, Ted, and to everybody else. There's a couple of drivers in this field even that sent me messages hoping to hear me back soon, or we're excited at that prospect. So very much humbling, very much thank you so much. And of course, with that out of the way, qualifying underway. GTs out there on the track right now. They'll take the first half of qualifying, the majority of which that has already taken place. Lexus up front, a 204.150, the mark to beat. A quarter of a second, Klaus Nyring behind Azenpamber. Joe Dauber in third. Verstappen just went fourth, and Imo Plata setting a 205.152 across the line now. Close qualifying for most of the positions. Of course, a quarter of a second is huge around a racetrack like this. We typically see it tighten up near the end of quali, don't we, Ted, here around Paul Ricard?
Yeah, we sure do. And I'll be in the practice server beforehand that one of the drivers hosts every Friday before the main race server opens, and it was interesting to hear what they were talking about and on how the track feels, how the car feels, because obviously we've got a chicane here, Jesse, this time in the middle of the back straight, so it's very different to see how the hypercar is going to deal with this long right-hander at the end of the straight, because normally they'll put a load of force on the tyre and really heat it up on that front left, and this time they're going to be a bit slower, so we have to see how it goes. I know some Cadillacs have been using front left hard and maybe a full left side hard, so just have to wait and see. But it's not long until they're out on track. I think a minute and 20 until they can leave. They'll be getting ready soon, but it's going to be interesting to see what this man here, Christoph Verstappen, does, because he has been flying in this Mustang, him and Martin Laurent, who Martin isn't here this evening, unfortunately, as Christoph goes for a nice drift through turn 1 into turn 2. But yeah, exciting race last week, Jesse, so we'll have to see what happens. But we did have quite a few DNFs, a few hypercars, quite a few GTs having an incident at Blanchemont, so there's a lot of runoff here, so hopefully this time it'll just be some flat spotted tyres.
I was just going to say, in comparison to Spa-Francorchamps, this place allows you to go off for a mile. I'd be more concerned about car-on-car contact at a place like Paul Ricard, and indeed that very well may be the case as we ride on board Azenpamber here, and just illustrating that chicane that you were talking about. Of course, Paul Ricard, I believe, still holds the world record for the most amount of layouts for a single racetrack, and this is not the Formula layout. This is, of course, well, it kind of is the Formula layout now, but back in my day, the Formula layout was different to the GT layout, but I'll digress. This is the GT layout if we're getting a bit pedantic. Riding on board, your current pole sitter in the Lexus, not up on his lap this time, was marginally down in sector one, was pretty significantly down in sector two, and they know it. And they are coming into the pit lane. Asenpamper not going to participate anymore. The session, of course, expiring for the GT3 cars. They'll get to finish their lap if they're on one, but the hypercars have been released.
Yeah, just got quite a few GTs to come through the rest of the track, and then we'll get on to some of those lovely hypercars we've got in this, the race today, as we've got the Porsche and the BMW and a Mercedes going into pit lane practicing pit entry, because it is a different one compared to ACC, Jesse. Normally we come down the back straight here and turn right, but it's out that second to last corner, and it can get a bit tricky if you get onto the painted surface.
That's the new, isn't that just the new pit lane here, the safer pit lane?
Yeah, it would be a lot safer.
Because right there is where the old pit lane was. It was a sharp right-hand turn, caused a lot of speeding penalties, and quite frankly, just one of the most unsafe pit entries in all of motorsports, in my opinion. So having an actual legitimate lane to run into pit lane, like most modern tracks do now have, I think it's a quality of life improvement in more ways than one, and also probably a little bit less of a headache to some of the drivers indeed. Zeno van Driesch coming out on the out lap. This won't be, of course, a lap of note, but he will be among the first in that BMW to set a representative time out there. And of course, he's also the one towing the line for the hypercars right now. And if anything out there is out of the ordinary, he'll be the first to find it. So George Barr here going off of the racetrack, didn't find that corner to their liking that time as they go into the La Hotel section of the racetrack. Something, maybe a miss there, maybe just staying out of the way. What do you reckon?
He might be staying out of the way. I don't know what happened there. He might have got late on the brakes, but he's just trying to find a nice gap for himself amongst all these hypercar cars. So he's just going to stay to the left-hand side and let everyone filter through until he finds a nice gap that he wants to take. But I don't think today, Jesse, that tyres heating up is going to take as long, because since the tyre update, it's nice, but it does take a little bit to warm up on a cooler track. But yeah, if we have a look, it is 30 degrees air temp and 49 on the track, which is pretty hot for these medium tyres. So I know from experience that warming the tyres up takes good 3 to 4 laps before they start hitting the high 60s and into the 70s, where they do feel in their optimum for the mediums. So we just have to wait today. Obviously we don't have that data to hand, the drivers do, so we just have to wait and see on who starts to set some lap times. As we see Vaselli, 2 purples already.
Vaselli setting purple sector 1 and sector 2 as drivers come through, and Van Driesch will set on the pole for the moment. Will they be upset by Vaselli? They will. Vaselli comes through and sets the quickest time of all, 1.5 seconds faster than anyone else. It's a 50.836, a 150.836, 1.2 quicker than Van Driesch. Kerrigan in third place, Wilkinson in fourth, and Triscani rounds out your top 5 as everyone finding their footing here. And this is what I love about the hypercars. Just like GT cars, they all have their unique sound. They all handle vastly differently. They look different as well. And of course, a track like Paul Ricard, you can get a tow down the Mistral Straight. You can better your sort of standing, but in a hypercar specifically, Ted, you got to be careful running in the wake of another car on these high-speed corners.
Yeah, driving behind hypercar is horrible. When you get within half a second, you feel that front end lifting. You go for a corner like you normally do, and it goes wider than you want it to, and then that's when you start trying to correct it, and it may snap and end in a spin, which obviously in a qualifying you do not want, in a race you definitely don't want. So it's all about being patient and waiting to see what happens. But Becky's on the toe of Billy Octane right now in that Cadillac. So let's see what he can do. He looks like he's holding it together pretty well. He's green on his sectors, but he obviously hasn't set a actual lap time as of yet. So we'll wait and see what happens. I think he invalidated on the first lap, so have to wait and see. But I wonder if anyone can get near Vasily. I think Van Driesch can, and Van Driesch, or he almost does. Have you seen how close that is? They both just set a lap time. Van Driesch was first, and then immediately got put back down to second. What's that? 1,000ths of a... hang on a minute. There's a Peugeot in first now, Jesse.
There sure is. Triscani goes pole after we were just trying to figure out. It was 5/1000ths of a second between Van Driesch and Vasily. But now that doesn't matter, as there is a Peugeot who has taken the provisional pole spot of 49.885, 1/10 quicker than anyone else. And I was a little concerned. GT qualifying, they were quite spread out. And as I mentioned, normally here at Paul Ricard, no matter what car we're in, it's an incredibly tight qualifying. But we are getting that here in the hypercar class. Look at that. The top 4 drivers covered by less than half a second. The top 3 drivers covered by less than 1.5 tenths.
Yeah. And the Peugeot is going quicker, 1/1000th quicker in the first sector. That's purple for them. Let's see if Vasily and Van Driesch can go quicker. Milan van der Becken in the V12 goes into second place. Less than a 10th difference. So this is heating up, as it's already hot enough here at Paul Ricard. It's getting hotter, Jesse.
Yep. And for the Peugeot, they're going to find themselves in a little bit of slower traffic here, and this may ruin all of this good work. They set a purple quickest of everyone, sector number 1. It was a personal best, sector 2, though that has just slightly changed, of course. But was that enough being held up there that has changed it? And Van Driesch and Vasily have gone back through again, pacing each other. It's a 49.778, the mark to beat. Will it be pole position? It will be provisional pole again for Trisciani. It's a 49.708, 7/100ths quicker than Vasily, and 1.5 tenths quicker than Van Driesch. They are all trading blows. That is the second or third time around in a row that all 3 of those cars, the Peugeot, the Aston, and the BMW, have all touched the pole position. This is going to come down to it with 1:40 left to go.
Yeah, and let's not say that Dion Smits here in the Toyota can't get up there. He is almost 9/10ths off, but Jesse, this guy is quick. Now, Billy was in the Toyota for a couple of seasons, and he's jumped out of it because he kept crashing. Now, I've seen a lot of Dion Smits' TikToks he posts, and quite a few of them he ends up in crashes. He was actually last season in the final at Bahrain, out the final corner, got too much off the other side of the curb and onto a bit of the sandy-ish runoff, and span it into a barrier and just sat there for the rest of the race, basically, with head in his hands because his wheel had come off. But he is quick. But Toyota does Toyota things and it makes you go backwards quite a bit. So we just have to wait and see. He is green on his first and second. His first sector was a bit sloppy because he had a few wiggles through the first few corners. So we just have to see if he can make his way up there. But yes, it is pretty close here today at that top end of the field. So top 5 within half a second, and the Peugeot back on pole, provisional pole.
Well, Voken held the pole position for about 30 seconds. Trisciani takes it back again. The current mark to beat of 49.336 as time is about to expire. All flying laps in qualifying will indeed count. Everyone will get the opportunity to finish or abandon said lap. Billy Octane continuing to improve upon their time, just like everybody else, inch by inch. You mentioned the medium tires taking laps to get up to full temperature. I reckon that's what we're seeing here as the tires continue to build pressure and grip. We're seeing them improve again and again and again. Several cars in the pit lane, including Tristiani and Voken, who could have both ran another lap, but have called it off, likely due to the fact that they were not up all their time. Billy Octane, however, for SJ and H, they're flirting with their personal best time here on their final lap.
Yeah, Tristani and Milan van der Becken have both sat in pit lane. Van Dries down in 6 is in the pit lane as well, so there you go. Those guys won't be going any quicker. And as we see, the timer has hit 0, so everyone who crosses the line now is the final lap. So just have to see if anyone can go quicker. Can Guy Comey go quicker? Now this guy, Jesse, is quick. He got pole last week and held the win. Well, held pole first place all the way to the win. So see if he can go quicker. I don't think he's on a valid lap. There's no sector times recorded. There was. It was just on my side. So he is in second place. He jumps up. Look how close it is.
So very close indeed. Giacomi coming closer and closer as that qualifying narrowed down to a point. Tristiani continues to lead, but now it is only 12/100ths of a second. What can Vojra do? It'll be a 57.73. Billy Octane comes across the line, and I think maybe Schmidberger, the only driver left out there on the track. By the way, a moment ago, I erroneously reported that there was an Aston in the top 3. That was a Genesis, of course. I do apologize. I'm getting old.
Yeah, it's all right, Jesse. We all make mistakes. I mean, the logos are very close, but here should be the qualifying results for today. If you want to run us through them, Jesse.
Alessio Tristiani on pole position for round number 2 here at Paul Ricard, 49.336. Good enough to get it done on a very hot track here in France. And Giacomi in second place will share the front row, 12/100ths off of that pace. Milan van der Voken, 55/100ths. They will start third. Klej in fourth place, 3/10 behind. Behind them, Vaselli, Van Drisha in the next row. Octane, Smits, Rybecki, and Wilkinson round out your top 10. Outside of that, Reese Wilkinson, Eduardo Giacomi, that's got to be an error on our part, so I'll stop reading them. Moving swiftly on to LMGT3. And we believe there is a graphical glitch, but you saw the end of qualifying. So we will move on from that. We'll rehash this on the grid in a moment's time.
Well, last night, two-time Cup Series Carl Busch suddenly lost his life. Born May 2nd, 1985, he was a talented driver and ranked first in overall wins between the top 3 NASCAR divisions. Our thoughts are with his family.
Yeah, um, incredibly sad indeed. Kyle Busch was a lot of things to a lot of people. You know, on track, he was a fierce competitor. So fierce, he earned the nickname Rowdy, for which a lot of people called him. The guy won more than anyone else in NASCAR's top divisions, 234 wins. Nobody else has ever got to that point. I don't think anyone will ever eclipse what he had done. Kyle won his final race just 6 days prior to passing away. It's left a hole in the NASCAR community and in the motorsport community. It's very sudden, shocking, and while there may be races in the future, the show must go on after all. It just won't be the same without Rowdy. I grew up watching him race from the moment he got into a cup car in 2004. You knew he was going to be special. It's just incredibly sad, and our hearts go out to his family, his wife, his children, his friends, who are no doubt dealing with this situation. It just such an instant turn that nobody could have possibly expected. Our hearts are with them, and if you don't know who Kyle Busch is, I would look him up. He was a special guy on and off the racetrack, a humanitarian. He was just a great guy. He was a great guy to watch, and an even better person off the track. Kyle Busch was a lot of things to a lot of people, but he will be remembered as everything to everyone. Kyle Thomas Busch was 41 years old. Got Well, the show must go on, as it always does. And today, a lot of people, sim racers, drivers around the world, race with a heavy heart. But today, we continue. We race on. Cristiani on pole in the hypercar class. As in Pamber on pole position in GT3. As we get ready for round 2 here of the Multi-Sprint Season 6 Championship, live from Paul Ricard in France. The green flag is out, and it's an excellent getaway from Giacomi, who's going to drive away into turn number 1. The S's with the clear lead did not get away very well at all. 3 wide for P2. Tristiani being swallowed up by the cars behind them and finds themselves completely out of sorts here, being swamped left, right, and center. Klej up to P2. Zeno Vandrisha looking to the inside for third. Can't quite get there. Tristiani, who could have been as low as 5th, at least recovers to 3rd place. But for Giacomi, they are trying to gap the field and have done by nearly a second through the first sector as we get to the Mistral Straight for the first time. It's an excellent start for the Genesis.
Yeah, sure is. Eagle-eyed viewers at home would have seen Klaus Nyring get a drive-through penalty, but I think Ryan Gill, who is in the race, has cleared it for them. So obviously that would be starting out of position. I think it can be a bit tricky with the 2 final corners, with obviously GT3s being behind the hypers. So that's made his race a bit better, because you don't have to serve the drive-through. As you see, Dion Smithstone, the Toyota, weaving to get the tyre temps up. As we can see, quite a few hypers going a bit wide, either dirty air and probably the mixture of cold tyres. As we see the Peugeot in front going off again and losing positions. Vesely going for a move on Dina Van Driesche and does make it in the Genesis.
Close racing here in the opening laps, but perhaps most importantly, no real chaos other than the fact that Giacomi took the lead there off the start. Tristiani, I think honestly, it was more to do with Tristiani not getting away cleanly. And I believe I just saw an LMGT3 get spun off in the middle to final sector there as they've disappeared. And yes, indeed, it is the 997. Lorena Nav off, and there's something amiss with that car. Don't know if they can't get it refired or there's some other issue, but certainly around. Was there contact that initiated this on the outside here? Nothing yet. Nothing
No,
yet.
the one on
Space
the
afford.
right.
No, just absolutely
Oh,
lost it, and that would explain why that car is not driving away.
oh, it's
The
got no
tire
wheel.
very clearly off.
Oh dear.
I can tell you that Mustangs do come from the factory with 4 of those.
They are still sat there, interestingly enough, Jesse.
Yeah, I think they're trying to work out how they can get the car back to the pit lane from here. That might be a futile attempt, I'm afraid.
Joe Dolber in the Chevrolet in the LMGT3 is down into 14th for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but he is making, well, he's trying to make some overtakes now, and he has done going on to the back straight. So nothing has popped up on my contacts or anything like that, Jesse, so not entirely sure what has gone on. We have a look. He has not taken a pit stop. That's what I thought it was. It did pop up saying he was in the pits, but I think that was just a bit of a LMU moment. But all these cars still close. Not Nyring, Verstappen and the second place Lexus 2/10 away, followed by Matt Townsend in 2.5, and then everyone behind is sort of in their own fights. Three separate fights there, as we see the AMG having a bit of a connection problem, and that Mustang is still there, Jesse.
Yeah, I wonder what they're attempting to achieve at this point. The good news is that they're so far off of the racetrack. They're at the moment they're not a hindrance to anyone. But you very well astutely pointed out, Christoph Strepa has taken the lead of the LMGT3 GT3 race over Azim Pamber. So a change there. The pole sitter down to P2 as we ride on board the rear wing of the Ford Mustang, looking back at the pole sitter Azim Pamber. The top 2 separated themselves by quite a gap indeed, by what is that, several seconds? Yeah, 2 seconds to get down to Townsend.
Yeah.
Blotton up to 4th, and Van Paris in 5th place. Rounds out your top 5. Armstrong's done a good job to get up to 6 in the early going. Gill, Keebolin, Hearn, and Boss, the top 10 right now. Look at Kevin Boss inside the top 10.
Yeah, he's doing great in that Lamborghini. Not a favourite for a lot of people. But we've got to see in the background 2 Porsches having a fight, and Kevin Boss coming up to join them. Let's see how fast we are going to go. They're going to go too wide again. Obviously, we've got the chicane in the middle of this straight, so that's where these Porsches should gain a bit of time. But no, because they're fighting Kevin Boss. Yeah. The Porsche should be better than the Lamborghini through the corner, and the Lamborghini better on the straights, but because they're fighting, it's just going to close that gap up.
Yep, Kevin Boss, of course, has never met a race car he wouldn't drive, even if it is a more difficult choice. I think Boss relishes in that just a little bit. He likes taking cars that aren't necessarily on meta, if you will, and you got to respect the guy for it, and especially getting decent results with such cars in the top 10 here today, looking really nice indeed. Joe Dauber, you mentioned them at the tail end of the train. They actually set the quickest lap in the LMGT3 class the last time by, and they're trading it back and forth in the hypercar class. Vaselli now has the quickest lap. Giacomi leads Trissiani now. Trissiani back by Klej, and Trissiani 2 seconds off of Giacomi. We'll monitor that to see if they can close that gap back down. And now Christoph Verstappen has the quickest lap in the LMGT3 field as they're trying to drive away from Azim Pamber. They haven't been able to do that as of yet, still within half a second the top 2 in LMGT3, but they continue to separate themselves from the drivers behind. But that's because Townsend has Imoplata right behind him, and they're all in sort of a knot together, tripping over each other. So the top two in that class able to get away. And meanwhile, these three are nose to tail. Triciani, Klejvaselli, and Vandrisha all together. All of those cars fighting over P2.
Yeah, it's heating up, and I think Verstappen heard you about saying about Joe having the fastest lap. He went a second quicker, did
He
a
didn't like that.
2:05.495. That's a whole second quicker than Joe Dolber's time. So he is quick in that Mustang, and I like it because I love a Mustang.
Yeah, I mean, I love just the diversity in both classes and just how well they're represented here in LMU. I mentioned in qualifying that all the cars, they have their own sounds, their own physics characteristics and everything. It's not plug and play. You can't just jump from, we'll take hypercar class. You can't just jump from a BMW and think that you're going to go drive the Aston. That's not how it works. You have to completely rewire your brain on how to drive that car. And it's the same thing with GT cars. You can't drive a Porsche the same way you would a Lamborghini, certainly. And it is incredible to see all these different makes, manufacturers out here racing as close as they are, considering they're all vastly different. The Porsche is still side by side. Kevin Boss trying to be patient as another Porsche joins them from behind. That's Kestemont.
He's surrounded by Porsches.
Yeah, well, you know, some people that would be a dream. For Kevin Boss right now, that is a nightmare. Oh my goodness.
Joe Dolber's coming into the mix as well, Jesse, in that Corvette. So we'll have to see how this goes. The biggest battle on track at this moment in time. All for 8th place.
They're swapping this back and forth. It's going to go back the other way around here. Vernon Kimmel continuing to fight side by side, holding up a large contingent behind them, but I don't want them to stop putting on an absolute show. And back through is Hearn again, retaking the position that was theirs to begin with for 8th.
Kevin Boss getting the tail of the car out, getting a little bit happy there. So he's really pushing that Lamborghini, and I think that's what he needs. We've lost a Porsche, Jesse. I've just noticed. Oh, he's in the background. I wonder what happened there. The no yellow flag has popped up. That was Kestemont, so something happened there in the fight. Nothing has popped up, unfortunately, so we're not sure, but there they are. You can see them in the background. They are now fighting, what's that, Klaus Nyring, so have to keep an eye on that. Kevin Boss is still having scraps in the background. Yeah, it's well, 10 minutes in, Jesse, and it's already kicking off like we expected.
I was just going to say, I've been out of the game for a while, but I will tell you, it's exactly how I left it. This is exactly what I would expect here on RCI TV, and if you are watching, listening at home, we invite you to like, subscribe for more racing content. Next broadcast here on RCI TV is on Monday. The Monday Crew bringing you continuing coverage of what could potentially be the final ACC Championship, the continuation of the Mini British GT Championship. That one's quite a long one, entering round number 2. I think there's like 8 or 9 rounds of that championship, 3 wide, and it almost goes wrong. Somehow Joe Dauber is going to get 2 for 1. That's a BOGO, but it's all going to go wrong. Cleanup on aisle 3. Joe Dauber goes around. One of the Porsches goes around as well.
Have a look at that, Jesse. Joe Dauber trying to get 2 places in 1 corner.
And I think he got it. I think he was fine.
He got tapped by Kevin.
That moment right there. Oh, he got double tapped right there. Zombie rules.
Yeah, if we have a quick look at that again. And I work my magic. Oh, the replay didn't want to work. Here we go, on board with Kevin Boss. Going 3 wide here, 2 cars on his left. There's Joe Dolber. Gets a bit late on the brakes. Joe cuts across, taps, and then the Porsche taps him again. And then Kevin drives off into the sunset. Like nothing had happened.
You know, my amateur opinion, but I don't think Kevin Boss had. I mean, what was he supposed to do? You know what I mean? True. I don't think that was Joe Dauber's fault. I don't think that was Kevin Boss's fault. I think they were Well, I think Joe Dauber was a victim of circumstance right there, and I don't think that was Boss's fault. What was he supposed to do? He was 3 wide. He held it on the outside. It wasn't like he was going to overrun the corner in the slightest. That was just an unfortunate sort of side effect, if you will. And now these two drivers, the two that have spun, are side by side as they continue to sort out their differences, Dauber and Kiemelen.
Yeah,
but they'll no doubt be a little bit more hot under the collar right now.
Yeah, and they got the hypercar field coming up behind them, thick and fast, which is always scary because you don't know where they're going to go. They should go round the slower class car, but that's not always the case. But yeah, it's one of those things about multi-class racing, which is something that you always have in the back of your head when you're in the slower class is, where is that hypercar going? But just looking there Billy Octane is on full hard tyres. If we have a quick look at the tyres, so obviously LMU GT3 only have the medium and the wets, whereas hypercar have medium, hards, and obviously the wets. So Billy Octane going for a full set of hards. Kerrigan and Wilkinson, I think that's just a front left hard to deal with the heat, but Billy's not doing too bad. His last lap was only half a second off his quickest. His quickest is over, well, just about 2 seconds off the top guys, so he is losing time on that tyre, but I wonder if he's trying to go for a one stop, which is interesting as we do have a yellow flag for the Porsche driver, who's now down in 6th place. Let's have a quick look at that while things are a little bit quiet.
Our pole sitter, Triciani, out of P2.
Yeah, I wonder if he just catches a curb. Yeah, he does. Inside curb in the Porsche's Peugeot is not what you want, and he's right in the middle, and luckily he doesn't get hit. Very difficult. Me, Kevin Boss, and Jack Mays did. I believe it was an 8-hour race for the team champ that LMU have got on under the race control subscription, and you catch that curb, it wants to spin the Peugeot. It's a bit tricky, this car, but it is one of the best in the sim right now. And normally when you do endurance events, you see them everywhere. So,
well, I gotta say, it was a day full of promise for Triciani, and the Peugeot looked really good in qualifying and certainly looked heroic after all the times they had to defend their pole position. But this race got off on the wrong foot, and it has gone even worse. They've got to stop the bleeding at some point here, but I wonder just how cooked those tires are after a spin of that nature. The Giacomi continues to lead over Klej, Vaselli third, Van Driesche in fourth, Voken the top 5. Now, as we see Van Driesche navigating some of that GT traffic. You know, Ted, you were talking about how you're supposed to navigate it if you're a hypercar. When I've always been the slower class car, GT3 cars and the like, I always just sort of hold my breath when the faster classes, just sort of hoping that they do it efficiently and smartly, and that's kind of what you hope. If you get caught in sector 3 or 1, that's really what you're hoping for. You really want to get caught in this sector, the Mistral sector, because it's somewhat more academic through here. As just as I say that, commentators curse. Voken around. They'll lose several positions here, fall outside the top 5. That'll promote Triciani back up to 5th. Smits into 6th. Rybecki in front of them now as well. And, well, commentators curse strikes again.
I think he got tapped on the rear, Jesse. Let's have a quick look, because I wasn't really staring at the screen. He's got the Peugeot behind. Let's have a look from this angle. This might help us. Does the Peugeot tap him? He does, because he slowed up for the
no, you're absolutely
Mercedes.
Right.
That's
that
so
was well spotted by you.
I don't think there was anything the Peugeot could do about that.
Well, yeah, I think there actually was. I think he could have not been riding the car in front, going
Well, that's
into there
true.
knowing that they're working lap traffic. But nevertheless, it was an incident. There's nothing malicious there at all, and that's unfortunately motorsports some of the time. Reading the chats as we always do here on RCI, or at least I hope they have been in my absence. So
We do.
folks watching the race, question from the chat: is this fixed setup? No, this is open setup. Each driver is responsible for setting up their car. Three-time Night Owl champion Harry Conway's joined us, and he has said 6-7. Care to do you want to, Ted? Do you want to do the thing?
6, 7. Oh my god, I can't believe I just
Yeah,
did
there you
that.
go. Saved me from doing it. I appreciate that. Harry Conway also commenting, Billy Octane, potentially the sexiest man in sim racing. Well, I won't objectify Billy Octane in such a way, but I will say I can't disagree with that statement.
He is
Do you have an
a
opinion?
man. He is a man. And he does look good when he drives.
The Estonian driver, longtime RCI racer, many times winner in his own right.
Dolber
Finds
making a move.
himself in 9th place right now.
Yeah. Dolber just making a move on Kevin Boss into the chicane. Doesn't look like Kevin was really put up a fight there. Maybe the Corvette is just that tad quicker, Jesse. Now, I want to know when these guys are going to pit. I wonder if they're going to take tyres. Because it is very hot. I mean, let's have a look at the forecast here. So that's the air temp of 30. That's going to stay the same. If we have a quick look at the session to see the track, it's still 49 degrees. I think that's going to be for the rest of the hour. So I wonder what class is going to take tyres. I think Billy's trying to hope that he can hold on to the hards for the whole race and just take the fuel that he needs. Because the hypercars will need to take fuel. I think it's about 50. You could probably stretch it to 55 minutes a stint if you do fuel saving. So we'll have to wait and see on how that goes. Now, unfortunately, Jesse, we do not have pit stop times, so we're going to have to sort of guess on what they've done by when they've come in with the gap, and then obviously when they come back out, where everyone is positioned. So it's you know, you like playing the maths game, don't you?
The what?
The maths game. You like doing maths.
Oh, the math game. Yeah,
Yeah, the
sorry.
math.
I don't understand English so good anymore. Go on. I do like doing the maths, yes.
Oh, we have a retirement from George Barr. Francesco,
Yep,
who is at the bottom
there
in
was a
15th.
yellow flag.
Yeah, Francesco never started the race, but George Barr has just DNS. Let's have a quick look before these guys start fighting again. Have a look what happened in the V12 Madness, trying to overtake a Lexus. That's first and second in GT3 class. Goes around the outside. Oh dear. Now,
Does it get into the?
oh
Yeah, that is suspension done on the left side of that Aston.
yeah, that's a shame to see, Jesse. Obviously, going around the outside there and not waiting is a big risk you take in the hypercar, in any hypercar, on the slower class. So risked it with that move, and the risk didn't pay off because he tried to get back on track before the little marker for track limits. Now, because you can run that curve quite wide, but you have to keep back onto the track before this little marker. And if you clip that marker, then that will give you. It won't give you a penalty, but it will give you penalty points that will count towards a penalty in the future. Now, I think it's 3. It could be 4, and you can get 0.25, half, 0.75, 1 full point. And sometimes you can get a full 2 points from one off track, depending on how serious it is. So, trying to not get them early on is obviously something you want to try and not do. And George Barr just tried to get that Aston Martin back on track and found the front end of a Lexus.
Always tricky navigating the sort of slower classes. You'd call them lap traffic, and they technically are that, but they're in their own class, obviously. So it's a little bit different than that. But even still, is that, by the way, have I just spotted that is a Kyle Busch liveried hypercar that's about to pass us here on the left? That is what that is. That is a Kyle Busch tribute car if I've ever seen one. How on
M&M livery.
earth have we not spotted that?
Well, I was told
right now.
I was told tonight there was no Kyle Busch style liveries from the man himself, Mr. Kevin Boss. I was lied to. Now, seeing this is very nice to see. Jacob Tucky, for you, Jesse, he's not the fastest guy, as we can see. He is 50 seconds off Fabian Schmitzberger, but he always finishes a race. He'll have the most amount of spins in a race. I don't think we've seen him ever spin and hit someone, or hit someone and spin out. He's just spun on his own, but he finishes the race because he wants to learn and get better at the hypercar. You know, all the different ones. This is the first time in this series that he's taken the Peugeot. I think he was in the Ferrari last season and the season before, and he still comes back and he still drives. And yes, he's doing slow lap times. He's a couple of seconds off, but he's still driving. He's still learning multi-class. You know, all this can be put towards an endurance in a team, and he can just get a car around the track. And yeah, he might have a few spins, might get the tyres flat spotted, but I've not seen him crash yet.
Well, he's made a fan out of me, not only for the livery, but for that endorsement from you. I respect a driver who doesn't give up, who doesn't make the big mistakes, who comes back each week, learns from it, sticks with it. Those are all fantastic qualities to have as a racing driver, and that livery is appropriate, right time and the right place. For those of you that initiated, Kyle Busch, who passed away yesterday, for the longest time drove the number 18 M&M's car in NASCAR, and it just sort of become world famous. You wouldn't have to be a racing fan at all to have seen a M&M's jacket. It sort of came into fashion in one way or another, and that livery is so iconic. And to see a rendition of that on the Tucky car, hats off, salute to him. And I think that the best possible thing. Looks good on that Peugeot too.
It actually does. I quite like it. Harry, Baddystone, as we know, Harry Conway in chat. Live long, rowdy, and yes, my favourite driver. I caught him a bit late into his career, so I didn't see him do the wins, and I missed the win in the truck race last week because I was doing an LMU race and I kicked myself earlier. Well, I kicked myself last night when I found out, and I was disappointed in myself for not realising there was a truck race on, and yeah, it just sucks. And I picked the guy first off because he's funny when he does his interviews, and secondly, he ran the number 8 in NASCAR, and I run the number 8 in all my races. So I was like, oh, he's my guy. And the way he drives and the way he acts it feels like a little bit like me, you know. So I was like, oh, he's my kind of guy that I want to support in NASCAR, getting into NASCAR, understand all the rules and how things work. And then yeah, bombshell was dropped last night, and he's definitely going to be someone who we miss, but gotta remember he will be up there with all the other legends, and he'll still be driving the ovals in whatever livery he's driving, all the beautiful liveries he's had. So yeah, just what a guy.
My favorite Kyle Busch scheme since we're going there, is I wouldn't say it's obscure, but it is probably one of the lesser ones, known for the various M&M's schemes throughout the year, all of which have the M&M's cartoon characters making funny faces on the car. My favorite one is a bit more subdued than that. It was the blue M&M's crispy car that he drove from time to time back in the day. Of course, M&M's not a sponsor of RCI, but just given the circumstances, it just my favorite livery. It was blue. It was M&M's crispy, which I don't think I ever actually tried. But
It's really
it's not
tasty.
the point. The point, were they good?
Yeah.
I don't think they make those anymore. But it was just such a crazy like
Other
blue
chocolate
car
confectionery
with like a.
is available.
There you go. You love to hear it. Long live Rowdy, indeed. I think, by the way, though, we've missed the mark on the tributes. I've seen Long Live Rowdy and Forever Rowdy. I think maybe Live Rowdy is or Forever Rowdy or Stay Rowdy are my favorite ones.
Stay Rowdy.
Stay Rowdy is such a. I mean, look, Kyle Busch was a great race car driver. He was a great competitor, right? And he was never boring, and that's how he got his nickname. And I think that's the best way to honor such an individual is stay rowdy.
Yeah, yeah. His interviews were funny. If you don't know, this is
how
close.
did they make that? How in the are we still
magic.
side by side? How on
magic and no netcode, Jesse? It's beautiful.
Industry leading netcode in LMU, and it was on display right there through Camp and Butte.
But yeah, if you don't know who Kyle Busch is, or you sort of know who he is but haven't really seen him much, go on YouTube, search him up, and search for Kyle Busch interviews. They are the best interviews there are out there, because sometimes he just doesn't want to do it and he just can't be bothered, and sometimes they're asking him questions and he doesn't want to answer them. And there was one where he was asked by 6 different interviewers. I think it was in pit lane or in the paddock just after a race, or it was just before a race, and he had one answer, and it was about him just getting in his race car and doing a race, because he didn't want to answer the controversial questions about other drivers. And it was so brilliant how he did it, and just you just don't get that nowadays from other racing drivers in whatever series. That he was a character, and it always will be. And it's nice to see that someone's got a livery. Dion Smith's almost getting rear-ended.
Again, 3 wide again, and yet somehow they all survive. Meanwhile, Armstrong continuing to fight here with Hearn.
So Armstrong,
and I believe that's Joe Dauber in the background as well. It is, and they're all somehow still fighting with the prototype squeaking their way through. This is some really good racing here.
Yeah, Wojciech Rybecki just having a front row seat to all this action in front. But Armstrong did have a yellow flag last lap, and this is why they're in a position here. We'll have a look at the replay in a minute, because I do want to know what happened, because it was only brief, so it could have just been rear end got loose a bit. But they are pretty new to LMU and how it drives. Obviously, fastest hands in the West, because they are on a controller. And they're doing pretty well, I've got to say that. They came into this race, Jesse, not confident with their lap times and how they're going to perform. But, I mean, sitting in 8th place right now, almost halfway up the grid, I mean, that's pretty good going from someone who's not done too much. Always been used to a set of course of competencias, and then coming across to a completely different sim. You know, LMGT3s are a different... They're different from the GT3s, because they've got the, different power and how they work, and obviously different physics in this sim completely, with the tyres and just how they feel in weight. And I think on a controller, you definitely, you don't feel that as much. So they are working that car to its limit out. The other problem was that they were worried about is tyre degradation on the front tyres, because of how quick their wheel moves. in the sim, because it's just on an analog stick, they might chew the tyres up a bit. Now in ACC they did have a lot of blistering, a lot of graining, and they worked around that. But yeah, I mean they're doing great so far. So we'll see if they have to take some tyres. Who is just
Oh
gone
my
off?
goodness. That was one of the Porsches. That's Hearn.
Found it.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, it is the 92 of Hearn.
Let's have a quick look at that, because that was.
They went off the wrong way, so was that contact or was that unsettling the car?
Unsettling the car. Bingo.
Yep, sure was. Broke loose, tried to correct it and spun. Didn't make it to the wall. The only damage done to the tires. And they'll rejoin.
Let's have a quick look at Armstrong and what happened with them to be in the fight just a minute ago. Going to the right hand after the main straight. Oh, catching too much inside curve, Jesse.
Yeah,
Look
just
at that.
went
Look
over
at
the
that.
back of the
Oh,
curb.
look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
You know what? Oh, but you know what? Putting on a show. That was well held.
Look at this rejoin. Look at this rejoin.
Now that's such a professional rejoin. You would expect as much from a driver of the class of Armstrong, but even still, it was just an excellent drift. It destroyed the tires for sure. Looked pretty, but also rejoined like a pro and back at it on the racetrack. And you were talking about Armstrong having to learn a new sim, and that's never going to be an easy task for any driver, but if anyone's going to be up to it, it's going to be Armstrong, and they're going to be just fine here in LMU. Of course, with some practice under their belt in the previous seasons, they continue to hone their craft on a gamepad. And where the thing I know about Armstrong is where other people say, oh, well, that can't be done, or there's no way that can be as quick as, Armstrong has always proved everyone incorrect in that belief.
Now, I just want to point your attention to the two class leaders and their second place rivals. You notice a similarity with their gaps. They were both at 10 seconds, Jesse. 10.7 to Clige, I think that's how you say the second place BMW over Gaikomi, and then Verstappen over Anazam. Now, help me with that last name, please. I know it's Rune. I know they've just had a spin.
Tim Pamber has gone off the racetrack somewhere, but it wasn't a major incident. They just must have run a bit
wonder if it's
wide.
catching the curb again, Jesse. Let's have a quick look. So it's not on this curve.
That's
not.
fine.
It's not here. It's the next corner. Oh, it is there. Oh, it's the exit curve.
Oh my goodness!
Ooh.
But they recovered so quick. Oh, now see, there you go. That's again. I was talking about Armstrong's professional rejoin. That was also a professional rejoin from Anson Pember, because it's so easy to throw that thing in reverse, get back on the track in reverse and create a huge problem, but just a small reverse to get going in the right direction. That is excellent as far as racecraft is concerned in a moment where a lot of drivers would indeed lose their head. Reese Wilkinson trying not to lose their head, working through some of the slap traffic, going completely off of the racing surface to guarantee the pass. Here comes the six down to the inside. This could be very close indeed. Very scary stuff. Navigating some of the lap traffic.
That was actually quite scary there, Jesse. I didn't think that Lexus was going to make it out
Was that
in one
Kerrigan,
piece.
actually, who went through first?
Oh.
Callum Kerrigan into the pit lane among the first pitters in the hypercar class. There's been at least one car in LMGT3 that has come down the pit lane. Gerstenberger has come down the pit lane, but though they did that quite early on.
Here's a replay of Callum Kerrigan's penalty. So let's see if we can. Off. It was track limits. And yeah, so they
This
went
maneuver
wide,
right here, yeah.
wide into the corner. Well, they weren't into the corner, off the corner, and then they were on that curb there, so they had to come in and serve the drive-through. So that would be all their
Yep. So
track limits used in almost one go, I think.
yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. We saw Kerrigan disappear as we were watching the action there, and I was wondering where Kerrigan had went, but that explains it quite nicely indeed, using up all of their track limits. Would like to apologize for the commentator's curse. I see some people in chat discussing that. I do apologize for that. We just can't help it. Matt Malcolm joins us on his drive in this evening. Listen to us on his car stereo. We're not very good singers, Ted and I, so we do apologize for that, but we do appreciate it nonetheless. Hope that we're not too distracting here in the booth for you. But that's very cool, being riding along with somebody. Matt Malcolm on his way in.
Yeah, so just thinking about pit times, because we're coming at that time soon where pit stops aren't going to be thrown in, Jesse. So I don't think it's too far off. Obviously, an hour and 20-minute race, and we're already 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes in. So got about 10 minutes left, so about half an hour left of the race. I think they will. The hypercars especially will start coming. I think GTs will be able to go a little bit longer, about 55 minutes, as we do, saying that, have our first person into pit lane.
Armstrong's going to want to get off those tires. It's no surprise that they're among the first of the top 10 to come in. Would have expected as much. A smart and savvy driver, get off of those tires, get new ones on there, and go back out and attack like they had been doing quite well on pace in comparison, and this will help them as well, doing the undercut to some of the other drivers. Now, what's going to be interesting here, will some of the other top 10 drivers, especially those racing around them, see Armstrong in the pit lane and immediately have to respond by coming in? Pretty standard stop there by the BMW driver. They're down and away, no issues there, as long as they got down to pit road speed in time, that is. This is looking fairly routine indeed. We'll see, does this cause some of the other LMGT3s to come down the lane here in short order? Because if they don't, they're going to be caught at a tire disadvantage in this heat, and they are going to bleed time to Armstrong now.
Yeah, it comes out in front of Tony Jupp, who's in that BMW behind, so still in 13th place, which is not too bad. I just want to have a look at the energy for the hypercars and the GT field, Jesse. Hopefully you can see that as clear as I can. Obviously Armstrong on 74%. Well, I'll go through it for you, Mr. Lee. Armstrong obviously on 74%. That's all they need to get to the end of the race. They do have on their MFD how much they need to put in, but sometimes putting a little bit more in an extra lap might help, especially if the hypercars want to do an extra lap, because that does happen. But the GT3 field seems pretty okay. And Zabamba, though, 34% over Verstappen and Townsend on 30% each, so that might be an extra lap. I think it's about 3 to 4% usage of virtual energy a lap. I believe that's in the hypercars. I wonder if that's the same as the GTs. I haven't driven them around here. Joe Dorber is in pit lane as well, but the hypercar class field, Gaicomi over the BMW, 2% difference. BMW got a little bit more. Viselli is only on 28. Van Driesch, Becken on 27s. The Peugeot is on 25, which is the lowest in that field. But they're all pretty similar. I don't think anyone's fuel saving. So we just have to wait and see on who takes tyres and who doesn't, as Billy Octane comes past Armstrong. And I see Fabian Schmidberger in the background running a similar livery, Jesse, but has the NOP colours as well as SJ&H.
Yeah, that's really cool. Two teams that are just steeped in RCI history, two of the legendary teams of RCI, to see both of those liveries nearly on pace and SJ&H represented on the same race car. That's crazy. That's like the there's a BMW, a famous BMW that did that somewhat recently in IMSA with the Turner and the Liquimoli scheme. I think those are the two that were on it, and it was split right down the middle. Very reminiscent of that. Very cool. Actually, who knew that the NOP and SJ&H colors look really rad together? I like that.
Yeah, it does look good, and Fab's made this himself. Funny enough, as you can see, it's got Barbie on the side, which obviously we know him as Farby, the Farby girl, which he doesn't mind us calling him that, so don't worry. But yeah, it does look good. The orange and pink with the blue and pink really works well together. But yeah, everyone's sort of calmed down now, Jesse. We can relax. You know, it was pretty hectic. Your first broadcast back after a while, and now we can sort of chillax a bit until pit stops happen and whatever else happens. But hypercar field pretty split. The Peugeot's just had. Yeah, saying that though, Jesse. Peugeot had a yellow flag, but has got going again, so hasn't lost too much time, but has lost a position to Dion Smits, who is now in 6th, as no, they're not. They were just not trying to take out Kevin Boss, which is very nice of them.
Admirable. Yes.
Yeah.
Just going extremely wide, telegraphing the move. Look, I'm going to go around the outside, which will become the inside. Kevin Boss recognizes that and allows Tristiani by. I will say Tristiani's had a rough one today thus far, Ted. This might be one to forget for the Peugeot driver, but my question is not so much about Tristiani. It's more about this Peugeot. I know that in some cases the Peugeot can be a meta pick these days, I've been told, but it seems to be struggling today out here with grip. Is that a car specific maybe to the setup on the car, or just a characteristic of this particular hypercar in general? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so me and Kevin and Jack have driven it quite a bit in the team champ that's on LMU, and we took, well, those guys took it as it's something different, and then found out that everyone else has took it because it is a bit overpowered. I don't know if the bop's there correctly just yet, but it's okay. If you push it too much, it will spin. So you got to look after it, and you can't just hoon it every single lap. Compared to some other cars, which obviously you can see the delta differences, and some of those guys aren't making mistakes too much. So it's one of those of it. Oh, hello, Dion Smith is going for a wander again in his Toyota. Nothing new there, Jesse. Don't worry, he does that quite a bit. But yeah, it's fun, but in endurance setting, it's OP. Like, if you look after it, it's not the quickest on the straights, but it's good through the corners. It's got the grip. It can look after its tyres well, as long as you don't spin and flat spot them or overdrive them. It's good on its energy, good on the fuel. But something like this, where you can see that Toyota is actually pulling away, which is quite surprising. If we go to the 1v1, and you see there, it was going up just slightly then, so that probably was 1.1 seconds out the corner, and it got to almost 1.5. So yeah, it's a difficult car. It is fun, but like any car, you push it too much, it will tell you off in one way or another. As Ryan Gill has come down pit lane in the AMG Mercedes in the LMGT3 field, and is back out on track with a lot less energy. So he's not had a penalty, Jesse, but he's here.
And
he
interesting
has
indeed.
done a pit stop. Yeah, you see there, he has a 1 instead of a 0. So I'm very confused. He's got 41% compared to.
Does Ryan Gill know something the rest of the field doesn't? I think is what, or has there been a mistake?
Well, it's either it's one or the other, because the two cars behind him of Joe Dolber and Lily Armstrong, 69% for Joe and 63.5 for Lily. Tony Jupp is on 69.4 as well % of energy, whereas Ryan Gill's on 40%. So that's 20% difference. That can be, if you're going by 4% a lap, that's 5 laps. That's quite a lot of laps. So I'm hoping he has enough, because he's got about 10 laps of fuel in his car. If I've done, no, yeah, that's easy math, isn't it? 4 times 10. Killing me.
Well,
But
I'm not going to say Ryan Gill has a history of running out of fuel, but I'm also saying that I've seen him do it on several occasions.
well,
You got,
oh, hello.
You got. Oh my goodness, Porsche out of nowhere,
That's
and I believe
Kobe.
that's. Is it?
Yeah. Kobe Kimulan was no yellow flag, so
Some of I
no
do
replay.
apologize. Some of the Porsches, they're red and black, and at a distance I can't grab the number.
Here we go. I can get it from
Let's
this
see what
replay.
happened to Kimura as the anime card. You got just
Oh, look at
going
that! Oh,
straight drift championship here.
that was
Wisely hits the brakes to let Ryan Gill go through. Those tires on the number 4 will be absolutely done. Kimura will certainly have to bring the Pimax sponsored Porsche into pit lane, but doesn't this time, crucially. I expected more cars to be drawn into pit lane when Armstrong pitted. And I think the reason Armstrong pitted as early as they did was to get off their drifted on tires. We're hearing our pit reporter, Harry Conway, 3-time Night Out champion, by the way. Billy Octane. Or not Billy Octane. Sorry, I'm reading different names here. 3-time Night Out champion Harry Conway, oh my goodness, has just pit reported saying that Ryan has exploited up his fuel.
Yeah, well, they're all in a VC together. Funny enough, Fabs, Billy, Ryan, I think Kevin's in there. I think Lily Armstrong's in there. So there's going to be some chatter in there, and obviously Harry Conway's in there as well. Or he's got other means of getting the information. So yeah, that's.
So Ryan Gill has messed up his fuel. He's going to have to come back in. Tucky has missed their pit board. We can't see their pit board. But now he's trying to get the car accepted into pit lane. And if he backs up too far, there will be a disqualification, but he found it just in time. And you can see he's up on the jacks now. He's in his box. So huge time loss there. He slid 3 boxes further. I'm assuming... I mean, I've done that, but usually it's a lockup, a massive lockup indeed, that would cause that. As I believe Kevin Boss into the pit lane.
Got a penalty for Daniel here in the Mercedes. Now, where does
Gutstenberger? What happened to Gutstenberger? This looks normal. Everything's fine, under control off the racetrack.
Yeah, and he didn't slow down.
And that was the one that put him over the limit.
Yeah. Very unfortunate, just drive-through penalty. Not sure if they have came down pit lane yet, but there goes Tucky now back onto the racetrack in the lovely livery.
Yeah, the good news is, they missed their pit stall and had to back up, likely due to a lockup. But no other issue other than that. Just had to back up and hit the mark, and yeah, that's time loss. But that's not nearly as big of a penalty as, let's say, sliding the tires or hitting another car out on the racetrack somewhere, or obviously getting a penalty. So that all works out. Christoph Estrepa running up to the back of Kevin Boss. And I thought, the force of perspective, I thought that was going to be a near collision. We've had those in RCI in the past. Nothing doing here. Boss able to get out of the pit lane cleanly. Estrepa immediately by. All the top cars, of course, have a pit stop left to give. The gap between first and second in the LMGT3 field, Estrepa leads, as in Pamber, by about 14 seconds. You can see the stops there as well. Most of them have a goose egg, still have yet to come down the pit lane with 28.5 minutes left. Giacomo continues to lead in the hypercar class. 8 seconds. That gap has come down between the top two, the Genesis to the BMW. Kledge has kept Giacomo honest, I would say, throughout the majority of the race. In fact, that gap continues to come down ever so slightly. Now it ebbs and flows, and now it's going back the other way because it is a relative and not a split. Where do you stand on that, Ted? Do you like hard split timers, or do you like live relatives like we have here?
Live relatives. Just
I like
oh!
Oh, contact. That's going to be contact with your leader.
I don't
in
think that was
LMGT3.
contact.
I think how could that not have been? That car darted off like a cruise missile.
I think he unsettled the rear when the hypercar dove him into the corner.
Let's go to the tape.
Don't have one. There was no yellow flag.
The tape.
There was no contact. There was no yellow flag. So I don't have any replay to show.
I mean, it's very possible that that car was just loose, but I could have sworn there was a side swipe going on there. But I've been wrong.
There's no damage on the rear. There's left rear damage. Only I think it's just a bit cosmetic. A bit of bumper rub, but it would have been his right hand side here, his passenger side, and there's nothing there, Jesse. So I think he turned a bit left, which then moved the weight in the car. He turned right again, and the rear was like, no, you want to go left. I want to go that way as well. And he held it though with that runoff. So
scary moment though, nonetheless, for your leader Christoph Estrepa, and that took several seconds off his lead. Azenpamper now down under 12 seconds, first to second place, and in a track where so many cars are still relatively close together, one spin, and he if Estrepa does not gather that car back up the way he does, like the professional he is, Azenpamper is your leader of the race again here today. Townsend rounds out your top three. Imo Plata fourth. Benjaris in fifth. Nyring, Hearn, Gill, Dauber, Kumulin, your top 10 right now. Most of those cars have yet to do their stop in hypercar. Giacomo, Klej, Vaselli, Drisha, Voken, your top five. Smits, Trisani, Rybecki, Octane, and Schmedberger, your top 10. And I don't think any of those cars, unless I'm wrong, have come into the pit lane in hypercar with 25 minutes left to go. And just as I say that, here is Trissiani. Well, I was right. He hadn't come in yet, but he is now. Trissiani into the pit lane and immediately up on the jacks. A little movement. That's pretty normal for LMU behavior. And pit stop will commence. Get him a fresh set of Michelin tires, and that will be a welcome feeling on that car, at least after a lap or two.
Yeah, sure is, and he is going to be exiting the pit lane now. 52.9% of virtual energy compared to these guys that are running really low. Now, Gaicomi says 2%, but on my side it's 1.6, so it rounds it out to the nearest full number. For you guys, now it's down to 1% because he's on 1.2 on the last time through. So he's going to come in. He's going to have loads of virtual energy left, so he will be fine. He's just got one more corner to then come into the pit lane, and we can actually see from the onboard what this is like. Here's your pit limited speed line, and we come round, and that tyre wall in front. This is where you would join an ACC, and that's where the timeline would have been. And now we're in. And it's pretty long, so getting a drive through here, Jesse, is not something you want.
Yeah, it's still a tight entry, but it's a safer entry. It's a narrow. It's almost reminiscent of Le Mans in a way as well.
Oh!
Contact here between the two nearly identical cars, but in different manufacturer. Ben Paris contact with, was that Nyring, I believe? That had to have been Klaus Nyring, surely.
Let's have a look, Jesse. Klaus Nyring in the Porsche, in the red one in front. In the pink one, sorry. There's a red one in front, the back marker trying to get out of the way. And got tagged by the back marker.
Yep, that was indeed.
I think that was Lars.
Oh, cool. That could have actually been way worse if they'd have made contact there. Body panels would have gone flying, but they don't. Ben Pars continues along with
It
the
was
other
Lars.
Porsche.
Lars just got a bit deep, trying to get out of the way, and he just got a bit deep in, so unfortunately, Van der Esch, Rybecki and Smits all doing their pit stops now in GT3. Key Mullen is in the pit lane. And we've seen quite a few spins, Jesse, today. Quite a few self-inflicted through the fast course now. Wonder if that's setups, you know. Probably not getting to grips with the setups, probably the heat. But I'm pretty sure there's somewhere that does some setups and probably some sim racing gear as well.
Are you setting me up for a partner read? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I am.
I swear. I gotta tell you, I'm old and out of practice, and you're making me do partner reads. Man, I gotta say, if you're looking for fantastic quality sim racing hardware, check out Moser Racing. Their range of direct drive sim racing bases and wheels. Of course, if you're looking for a full sim rig experience, go visit Ready Set Sim. Try out their bespoke sim rig builder. Build the sim rig that you want with their sim rig builder. Might as well check out Pimax for VR, the leader in high resolution widescreen VR. And if you have yet to buy LMU, what are you doing? Are you living under a rock? Let me help you out. Go to Green Man Gaming, use our link in the description, and get a deal on LMU. Get racing today. It's such a fantastic sim. You're going to want to be involved. And a special shout out, of course, to Coach Dave Delta, where you can get yourself some coaching and some setups as well. And IMB Racewear. And again, another special shout out to Motorsport UK for recommending us as an esports community. I am old and out of practice.
You did great, Jesse, as always. Now, just looking at these guys who come out of pit lane, Jupp here in the BMW weaving. You can see there, Jesse, full lock right, cold tyres. They're taking new mediums. Yep. So has Guy Comey, Vesely, I think as well. Van der Vecken, Derige, Rybecki, Smits would have taken new mediums, which are freezing, but should get up to temperature soon. Now, obviously, you could weave all the way down here, but because there's a chicane here today, they're going to have to stop, and you're going to have to stop pretty early. Get on those brakes pretty early because you can go deep and you can lock up, and it's not fun. But handling it very well. Now, I want to see when Billy Octane goes in for his pit stop. I think he's already done it. Let's have a quick look to see who needs to do on next. Only two cars, that's Verstappen and Ansabamba, who are the only ones in the GT3 field, and they're both in. Verstappen out. Will keep the lead of the race car. Comey also in the hypercar kept the lead. Now, Billy Octane, don't believe he's taken new hards. I could be wrong. Hopefully Mr. Conway can tell us. Seems as he's engineer for a bunch of guys in this race today. But a penalty has come. Oh, go on.
I was just saying there has been some drama in the pit lane. Pit engineer Harry Conway, who's also a three-time Night Owl champion, I may have mentioned that once before, said that Ryan not listening to or taking direction for his fuel number, and that's why he short-filled the car. Keep in mind, that is something we're following, that Ryan Gill did not, allegedly, according to their pit box, did not take enough fuel, got the number wrong, and does not have enough fuel. Your math seems to back that up, and I'm willing to believe that your math and the engineer, three-time Night Owl champion Harry Conway, are correct. And also confirmation for your theory, no change of tire for Billy Octane. Still on the same hards they started the race on.
See, I don't know if that's going to work out for him. In an endurance, yes, it would work really well. It'll be a quicker pit stop because it's just fuel. And if you have no driver stop, it'll be quicker as well. But because it's only an hour and 20, 80 minutes is sort of a sprint race. Basically, it's just 20 minutes extra than a normal hour race. And all the other guys, yeah, they'll take a few laps to get them warmed up. But he is 13, almost 14 seconds off the Peugeot in 8th. So He's just got to hold the ninth place position. But this guy who's just come through pit lane got a penalty for track limits, Jesse. Let's have a quick look at that on the replay. So coming down, ooh, he's gone deep. Now this,
here,
you don't want to do
this
this,
is
Jesse.
the problem. You can't do this. You have to rejoin sort of where you left off. You can't cut sections of the S's like that. That's a huge penalty in most sims, especially in LMU, because of the way it's calculated.
Yeah, I think that if you got to slow right, I did it in the Peugeot here in the Team Champion Endurance, and I had to slow right down. I was on cold tyres. I got my braking completely wrong. Went super deep. Went even deeper than that guy did. I went straight basically, and I basically had to come to a stop because it was red. And red's scary when it's red because you got green, which is like no penalty, it's just like a warning, or you went off track. Yellow is like, oh, I'm gonna give you a penalty. It could be a 0.25 to a 0.75, or it could be a 1. Orange is you've really messed up here. You need to back off. And red is, I will give you a drive through if you don't stop. And I had to stop now.
Red is instant penalty.
Yeah, and obviously the Aston Martin here in 10th place just went super deep. Don't know if it was new tyres or they just got braking wrong, but they carried this enough speed to where I'm want to say that was a point. That was a 2 points for penalty, which is a heavy amount considering we're probably got about 4 to 6 in this race. I think in 4 is what Mr. Ryan Gill has said it as.
So somebody at home is inevitably asking, well, what could he have done? He ran off there. Was he supposed to join the track in an unsafe manner? No, he could have stopped in the painted area and allowed the penalty thing to turn not angrily red, it turned back to green, and he would have been fine. But because he rolled through there at speed, it certainly assessed him with a hefty penalty for doing so. So you are allowed to make up for your mistake by giving back up time in LMU. It's one of the brilliant things. It's not an instant, it's not a ball and strike call, so to speak. It's very clearly labeled on your screen what's going to happen to you, as Ted mentioned, but just elected to roll through a huge section of the track, completely cutting a corner. Rather unfortunate indeed. Tucky's joined us in chat, and I'm unsure how they're typing to us unless they have stopped somewhere. They haven't stopped.
No,
are they typing to us?
Yeah,
on the Mistral Strait?
so Tucky is like Jordan Daly and Mike Redford. They can type and drive.
Oh my goodness.
Which is scary. You shouldn't be texting and driving, even in a sim.
Agreed.
Please.
But
please, if you're gonna do it on a straight when no one's around. Is all I say. Real life, don't do it.
In the background, a GT car spun off before we got to Hotel. And it's Grutzenberger. They're going to spin again here. Those tires are absolutely cooked. This is a dangerous place to be sitting. Luckily, they're able to get it off the racetrack and spun back into the right direction, but still some cars. Do you know what? I made a reference to the Turner BMW Liqui car earlier, and it's in this race. I've just realized. So it's well done, indeed. Let's see what happens to Gerstenberger. I assume we're just going to get loose here, and they do. And they loop it again, trying to rejoin. Right.
That's right in the middle of that S's section, Jesse. That's definitely not where you want to spin. And then obviously,
loop it again.
Yeah, heat your tires, like you said. You heat the tires up in the sim, and they stay hot. This isn't like ACC. Yeah, this is not like ACC where you can get to a straight and cool them off. They are warm. They are. You mess up and they punish you for it. So it's a tricky one to have, but
we're doing a drift championship now for Gustenberger. The good news is he's doing it off the racetrack now, off the racing line, away from the rest of the cars. Tucky claims that he's not even texting right now, which is weird because I'm reading the words on the screen. Interesting.
Things don't
Not
add up here.
entirely sure. Not entirely sure. I will say, Tucky. Of course, he mentioned earlier. He we're talking about Moza. He races on an R12, and he also has that wonderful Kyle Busch tribute Peugeot. We love to see
Kyle
it. Thank you for
Busch.
that. Indeed. Looks like Harry Conway is relaying messages for Billy Octane. Missed you too, buddy. My life gets settled down. I'm sure we'll have a nice chat like the old days indeed. Harry also mentioning that Daly types in the chat while he's winning the race. That's an unfair comparison.
It's true. But
I've never heard, and I love Jordan Daly. I want to make this very clear. Jordan Daly's a lovely human being. Love the man. I've never heard a man complain more or use as much profanity as he does when he's winning versus losing. It's the craziest thing. He is a northerner, true and true.
he's very northern. When he gets
Love
angry,
him to death.
he's full northern, which is quite funny. Joe Dorber getting past Ryan Gill here. Ryan Gill's only got 5% of energy, so he should be in this lap because he didn't listen to Harry Conway, who, as we know, Jesse, 4-time Night Owl champion. Now.
Should have been a 4-time Night Owl champion, but a drop round kept him from winning a 4th title.
Well, it's 3 full wins of a full season, and then he's had 2
mini championships.
Yeah, so we sort of count it as 1. They're like half a champ, so that's why we go 4. But
that's a good one. Yeah. Yep,
so he's
I like
4-time. He's 4-time, and that used to be our series. I used to run it. We used to commentate and broadcast on it every Saturday night. Stupid o'clock at night for me, normal time for you, and we're back here again, Jesse, on a Friday. It's like, are we taking over? Are we making this into the now? We're going Friday.
Well, if we're going back to Night Owl, I'm gonna make stupid jokes. Of course, Ryan Gill was passed by Joe Dauber. Ryan Gill's a law-abiding citizen. He always pulls over for the police.
Yeah, I just realised Joe does have a police livery on his Corvette, which is quite funny. Ryan Gill going for another one. It's 4% of energy with 3.5 over the line, so he just has about 1 more to.
He's gonna have to come in and do the pit stop of shame, I'm afraid. Otherwise, the anime Mercedes AMG is gonna be out of fuel here.
He might be fighting Kevin Boss again, because I don't know how long it is in to out, but it's just over a minute, or a little bit more, because pit lane is quite long. He's 15 seconds, 16 seconds in front of Hearn, who's got Lily Armstrong behind, then the Aston Martin, and then Kevin Boss. So I think he's going to be around that area, maybe behind Kevin. So it's probably a bit further actually. That's only a minute to Kevin. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, Jesse. It's all gonna change. It's all gonna spice it towards the end as we like. 10 minutes left of the race is all we have left. An hour and 10 minutes has gone flying by, Jesse, with you in the comm box tonight. And not to push Jack out, because Jack has been amazing. He is Jesse Lee 2.0, because he's American. He's got a similar accent to you, and he does an amazing job, just like you do. Well, he's a lovely guy, Jesse.
I don't know who that's more disrespectful to, him or me.
Well, we'll find out later when he tells me off, when he listens to this back, because he probably will
he'll tell you off when he's back next week is what he'll do. Less than 10 minutes in the race, and information coming in to the box, courtesy of Gersty, saying the 505 DNF'd, near a rear left puncture with a suspension knock early, and it was just done. Constant spinning, made worse by overheating. Was all over the place and was a menace for track limits. So the 505 has had a horrible nightmare of a race here in France and has called it a day. Meanwhile, here is Ryan Gill.
Yeah, how much does he need? The other drivers have about mid-20s to low 20s to mid-20s of virtual energy. Where does he stop? 21.2%. Yeah, so Where is he going to end up? Where is Kevin Boss on the track at this moment in time? If my cameras want to work. Oh, he's quite far back, so that was a very quick pit stop. Will he be fighting the Aston Martin? I don't think he will be. Oh, he's not too far off actually. And obviously he hasn't changed tyres, so they are still got some warmth in them.
Nice and warm, yeah.
So we might see a German V8 versus a British G8, G8 V8 in a second. As we do have.
If I make a reference to the war, will you hate me?
Oh no, I talk about the war all the time, Jesse.
Just like the war, isn't it? Triciani, rough one for them. What can you say? I guarantee they wish we'd stop mentioning them, but just been an absolute mare of a day. Started up front, has gone backwards by virtue of spins and incidents. The Peugeot just proving a little bit too wily for them in race trim. Was absolutely on it in qualifying, but now finds themselves at a crossroads. Maybe a little respite here if they can get by Billy Octane, but it's late in the race, and if there's one thing I know about the Estonian driver is he's not just going to lay over for that Peugeot. This is a real fight here. There might have been a lot of give and take early in this race. It's all gone now. 7 minutes, a couple of laps left to go. This is pure fight mode.
Sure is, and oh, Billy Octane on those old hard
Hard
tyres.
tires.
Yeah, I think they're dropping off a little bit. Also light on fuel. 5% difference in energy compared to the Peugeot behind. But every race, Jesse, I have to find a Cadillac and I have to get on board. We've been on board with Verstappen, now we're sort of on board with Octane, and I just love the engine. The engine tone is so nice. Lily Armstrong in the pit lane again, Jesse. Not sure why. Let me have a look at my incident. Lily Armstrong penalty. James is in the penalty. Is in the box as well in the Aston Martin in 9th place. So it's all kicking off. Let's have a quick look to see what happened to Armstrong before we come back to this fight. Let's see where these this track limit was. Right, there we go. Get a nice TV cam. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Gone wide. That's
Just
what it's got to be.
Just a little bit
Yep.
too much. Just a tiny bit too much by Armstrong there. Probably reacting to the hypercar as well.
Yeah, let's have a look.
It's just an unfortunate circumstance, and
where is it
very
gonna?
nearly there.
Is it here? It's there. It is. Just slightly. All four wheels over.
Just Formula One style rules right there. Just barely dipping off the track. Well, Ted, I'm going to leave them in the hands of you for the final 5 or so minutes. I should be back for post-race interviews if there are any. Ted Edwards, take us home.
Thank you very much, Jesse. 5 minutes 15 seconds left to go. The Peugeot behind has made a mistake and is now behind Reese Wilkinson, who's on a split tyre strap. Front left is hard, as you can see right there is a red compound. Let's see what happens. It's a 3-way fight for, I believe, 9th place, as we can see here. Battle for P10, if it's actually battle for P9. But P10 at the minute with these two guys really close together. Billy Octane's got a bit of a gap of 1.4 seconds, or almost 1.5. Verstappen has lost a lot of time. He's only 2 seconds. The difference to P2 in the GT3 field. Not sure what's happened there. Nothing has popped up on my side for any incidents or yellow flags. Down to 14, almost 15 seconds off in P3, and still got 11-second gap to Nürburgring. So he is in the Dalton zone in the GT3 field, on for a 3rd place in that Lexus. Very nice indeed. Emo Plata fighting Nürburgring now, as you can see on the left hand side, just about over 7/10 the difference for a fight for P4, whereas these guys are still fighting. Billy Octane has lost a bit of time. It's only 8 to 9/10 back, and there's contact. It's only a little bit. It's not too much, just a bit of paint trading just there. And coming to the second to last corner, Kevin Boss is in front, and Reese Wilkinson goes round. Wonder if there was contact. No yellow flag came up because he was not stationary. So I do not have a replay, unfortunately, but Reese Wilkinson does lose out on that position as he goes for a move on Kevin Moss before turn 1. Nicely done, nicely done. Let's have a look at the fight for P4 in the GT3 field. Half a second back. Nyring got 3% less virtual energy, so he's running a bit lighter, probably on the fuel. But still doing decent at that time. So he was 3/10 slower than Emo behind, who is in the Ferrari, the only Ferrari in the GT3 field. So it's getting a little bit spicy with 2 minutes 50 seconds left. And the lead is now for Verstappen getting slower and slower, down to 1.6. It is fluctuating quite a bit because I think they are in the first sector. There you go, the Lexus is not that far behind, 1.4 to 1.5. So it's getting a little bit juicy up front in the GT3 and also midway through. Billy Octane is on the rear end of Fabian Schmidberger. Not sure what happened there. Pretty sure he had a decent gap. And see the Peugeot in the background, who was running up in the top 5 earlier on in the race today, has dropped all the way back and now is trying to gain some ground on these two lovely liveried cars. As they're coming up behind Lily Armstrong now, who's in that BMW in front. We may see a teammate fight for 8th place. It's never a quiet day in the office when we get to the last few minutes of the race. 1.5 minutes left. Guy Comey is around somewhere. Let's have a look to see where he is. He's coming up to, I believe, the second to last corner now, so there will be one more lap to go. He is, there you go, coming to the last corner with 1 minute 15 seconds left, so there will be one more lap of this race. And that's all that counts for a lot of these drivers. 3/10 the difference now from Nyring to Emo. It's going to be a tricky one to get the Porsche by the Ferrari by the Porsche. But the gap to first and second in the LMGT3 is still 1 point. It's 1.2 now. It was 1.5. So I think Verstappen is losing some ground somewhere. If I look at the sector times, he's losing 3/10 in the first and 2/10 in the last sector over the Lexus in second place. So getting a little bit spicy all around. Let's have a check on Fabian Schmidberger and Billy Octane. Just over 3/10 to the difference. We're trying to get round Ryan Gill now, who's in that anime Mercedes. Billy Octane being chased down still by the Peugeot, who's now right on his bumper. As you see that switch from Fabs and Billy to Billy and Justican. I think that's how you say his name. Sorry if I butcher that. 3/10, but the exit is brilliant from Billy Octane, going from 3 to 4/10 and climbing. Cadillac got the good exit and the straight line speed to keep it going. Fight for first in LMG3 as Billy Octane that makes a mistake on the exit, gets wide, hopefully not a penalty. No penalty has shown, so that's good by him. Comey coming into the second to last corner, down into the final corner. He is going to take round 2's win in the hypercars car field and overall, being chased down by the BMW in second place. And Martin Vesely is quite a way back in that other Genesis. As it comes across the line now, taking third place, Martin Vesely. Very well done there, sir. Christoph Verstappen also comes across the line with them, followed by Anza Bamber in second place. Amazing fight by these two, very close towards the end. And Matt Townsend comes across in the Lexus now. What an amazing race by all drivers today. It's been quite an interesting one, quite a fighty one. Here comes Emma Plata, still 7 tenths behind Class Nyren, who's in front there, who comes across in fourth. What an amazing final 10 or so minutes. Harry Conway says there's been a murder. Don't know when that was from. Hopefully it wasn't Ryan Gill. Daniel Hearn coming to the second to last corner. There's Fabian Schmidberger. Billy Octane did get past, so I wonder if that's what Billy was on about. I don't see anything that says Fabian Schmidberger on it. Fabian Schmidberger comes across the line with Reese Wilkinson. Daniel Hearn comes across. Where's Mr. Ryan Gill? There he is, having a tough day at the office. Lily Armstrong also having a bit of a tough one, but finishes the race in 9th place after thinking they weren't quick enough. But boy, you did very well. Well done to you, sir. And Janice comes across for the final car of the grid, as we can hear some cars making now. We are having our little post-race parade lap for Kyle Busch. The drivers did agree to do the final tour around the circuit to say thank you for the joys that he's brung over the course of his career in NASCAR, and helping other people get into racing as well, either that be in sim racing or actual real life racing. So nice to see all the cars here today showing the respect that that man deserves. A little bit of a rubbing, as they would do in NASCAR, as pretty sure Kyle Busch has quite a few times. And yeah, that's definitely a NASCAR move there. Oh, the Aston Martin got back around again. Lovely sights to see to end a perfectly good race today. Not much contacts, a few here and there, but nothing too serious, and no one DNFing from said contact. There's the M&M livery again, showing Jacob Tuckey showing respect to Kyle Busch. Joining the other drivers, showing their respects today. And as usual, LMU had to go and ruin it by closing the server. So unfortunately, I did not get the race results because I was too busy following what happened. But I can go and get the replay, and we'll go through it in just a second, as we do have one person ready for an interview, and I'll get onto them as soon as I start loading this replay, and then I can reel off.
Hello.
Hello. Now, I'm just trying to grab your name because your name is not the same in Discord, and I am one person on my own.
I'm Tuki.
You are Tuki. I thought so.
Yeah,
Nice livery today, Tuki. That was a
thank you.
good sign of respect, and me and Jesse really appreciated seeing the only driver on the circuit today driving a Kyle Busch livery. How was your race today? You did finish again, always finish in the race, even though you're not the quickest guy, but you are learning and you're doing really well. Said this multiple times that you you do always finish a race. So how was it with the track temps as well? That's a big one.
Um, yeah, the track temps being around 50 degrees Celsius was just very, very hot. And generally the race was for me not great, not the greatest, as my pit stop, it wasn't a lockup. I just missed it while trying to adjust my fuel ASAP because I've gone too wide and got into pit entry by that. So it wasn't too lucky pit stop, but it was.
Well, it was a decent race. How was the car? Are you getting on well with the new choice of car, or did you prefer the Ferrari from before?
Uh, I definitely prefer the Peugeot. I must admit that, but in general, I think I might could have got better pace if last few weeks I wasn't practicing only like GT cars for maybe like 2 last weeks. I haven't touched the hypercars.
Yeah, you did say that you before this season started that you might take a GT3 car. Now, you didn't. So you stuck with the hypers, and what was your decision behind that? Why did you not switch?
First of all, I thought it would be like very long journey to change it in every league, in every team I'm in. Plus, I don't know if the commentator at Bahrain was joking. I don't know if it was you or someone else. That if he would make sure I would get like unregistered if I did GT3, so I stayed with the hypercar. But
It was a joke. Don't worry.
nice. So now I have to drive the class I'm trying to abandon. I mean,
You-
don't get me wrong, I would love to drive hypercars in real life, but right now when I'm literally racing endurances in ACC and AC2, it's very hard to me to practice hypercars while also doing those GT3s.
Oh yeah, because they're two different cars. Obviously, they look different, but they feel so different. The speed differences as well.
Yeah,
ABS.
when I first jumped into GT3 in LMU after like 3 months of only hypercars, I was like, oh my god, why is this so slow?
Well, you're doing a good job. Um, I didn't see. I don't think I saw any yellow flags from you today, which is a bonus. I'm not saying I'm always looking for them from you, but you're getting to grips with the car, so that is a
I
good sign. So.
I think there was one yellow flag or few because once I just got terrible at braking and cut through the chicane at the straight, and once in the I think those are S's. I'm not quite sure, but I was trying to lap two GT3s, and one was on the outside, other one on the inside, and the inside one just braked too late, and well, there was a contact.
Well, you could have lied to me and said, "Oh, there was no yellow flags," but you were honest, which we appreciate. But no, good job today, mate. And I did have the finishing times. You finished P13. I mean, still, you finished the race.
My lucky number. So favorite.
Well,
Like if you looked, I have number 13 in this league. So
ah,
yeah, I
well,
was trying to
you
get this
beat
number
George
last
Barr.
season, but was taken.
You beat George Barr because he didn't finish in his V12. So you beat someone. There you
Yay!
go.
Just by not
That
DNFing, yeah.
is well, exactly. That's the whole thing about racing, isn't it? It's like finish the race and you don't know where you might end up somewhere you didn't expect. So you're doing a great job,
Yeah.
mate. Do you have anyone you want to say thanks to? Anyone to shout out to?
Uh, thanks to my friend that made this livery. He lives in like other side of the world, and when I texted him if he can make me this livery, he told me he literally is going to bed right now, but he stayed up to make me this livery. So yeah,
Well,
that
there
would
we
be
go.
everything. It was very fast made livery, so It was like last second, mate, but it was.
Well,
Well,
it was a nice livery, and me and Jesse appreciated it. And I think maybe Jesse's back.
well,
Yes, indeed.
He
oh,
is back just in time.
Again, I just got to say, just a wonderful tribute to a great racing driver and human being, and it just just well done, well executed.
I was never a NASCAR fan, but even before I got into racing in general, I know his name, so it was like impossible to not do that.
It's a classy act for a classy guy, and from a classy guy. Thanks for sticking it out there on the racetrack and providing us, of course, with entertainment as well. By the way, just so you know, in the future, there is no RCI rule that says you can't text and drive. Uh, However, for legal reasons, we discourage doing so, but there isn't a rule that says you can't.
I mean, it's not my first time doing this in any league, so I know what I'm doing. Just to the first crash, of course. I try not to have any. But
There
yeah,
you go.
for me, it would be everything. Just wish me luck tomorrow because I'm driving 10 hours of Nordschleife in GT4 solo.
We do wish you the very best of luck, Tucky. Thank you for coming and talking to us,
Thank
and
you.
good luck.
Yeah, thank you. You would think I'm crazy if I told you about the rest of those events. What? I have
Uh,
just two 24-hour races planned solo. It's not too much.
well, good luck with that, and do take care. And let us know next week how that has turned out for you. Thanks for coming in and talking to us.
Uh, Thank you, no problem. I will be there next race. I hope I can do it in GT3 this time because I like them way more. Well, see
All
you then.
right.
Hear you next week.
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tucky in the M&M's Peugeot today that oddly looked good. It looked like it belonged on that car. I guess the Peugeot is just really malleable, or maybe it's delivery. Moving on to, I believe I've got Collision with me. Is that correct?
Yep.
About my yeah, yeah. I mean,
Gi-
it's how
per-
you pronounce my surname, but like, yeah, you've got him.
do me a favor. I do this to everyone. Do me a favor. You pronounce it how you would, and so we all don't have an excuse next week.
I would say if I make it easy, then it's Tube Tank Clay. About that. If you can do that, then I'm happy enough.
Group 10,
Clay.
10
So it's
Clay.
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 It's
Yeah,
Clay.
yeah.
Okay. Juten Clay. All right. So we're here with Juten Clay, and I will certainly try and memorize that. Clay, tell us about your day out there. It looked like you had a car that, in the end, was capable of winning. It's just that you couldn't quite make up the gap to Giacomo.
Yeah, I think the car was pretty good today. Had pace. Just I think a little bit unfortunate with traffic sometimes, and I mean, I'm trying the alternative strategy because I'm not here to finish second. That's not my point. So I tried it, and like, I think if I didn't try it, I would have still finished second. So I'm happy with my result, and I'll keep pushing on, keep looking towards finding my first win, and yeah, pretty much that.
It's got to feel good though. I mean, out of everyone in the hypercar class, other than Giacomo, who kind of drove away there early on, you're the one that really held your own out there today and didn't really have any sort of mishaps. That's got to feel good. You talk about wanting to win and not finish second. You got to be feeling pretty good about your chances right about now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'd say they're not bad. I'm driving pretty good at the moment. Just trying to really get get up to speed around some tracks. I'm not quite familiar with the BMW as much as some other cars, but I tried it to have a good challenge for myself. And so far the car's been pretty feeling good. Just trying to find time in the setup in my driving, and hopefully I'll get there.
I think your time's coming sooner rather than later, Clay. Ted, do you have anything for our runner-up?
You did an amazing job today. How is that BMW against the Genesis? Because I've never driven the BMW. I don't like the steering wheel, so that's one reason why I won't drive it because it looks a little bit janky for me. But how is the BMW to drive in either an endurance or like a sprint race like this?
For me, it's pretty good. Driving style suits me. Um, just the weight as well is pretty fortunate right now with the BOP. So tires don't go yeah, they don't. How do you? Okay, well, my English is not great.
It's
You
fine.
can say it.
Anyway.
You can say it in Dutch. We have international in the name for a reason.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, it's slijtage in Dutch, but like um yeah, the tires just they help a lot. They don't. Okay, well, I'm just not gonna continue that. Anyway, but yeah, the BMW, it suits me. It's pretty fast. It's good for endurance races, and yeah, I mean, so far it's going great this championship. So yeah, can't
It's an
complain.
it's an all-round good car, is what we're hearing from the runner-up. Now, do you think you could fight for the championship win by the end of the season?
I do hope so. Obviously, my opponents are pretty quick. I have seen that today and last week as well. But I'll try everything, try to find time in the setup and my own driving, and yeah, I just hope it just comes with steps. It's now trying to get the first win, and after that, I'll see if I get towards the championship or whatever.
And how do you feel going into round three at Imola that has rain forecasted? What do you think the BMW is going to feel like in the wet?
I feel like it's not too bad. I haven't really tried it too much in the rain, but I heard from others that it's not too bad. So I think my chances are pretty high. Imola is also one of my strong tracks, so we'll see.
Well, do you have anyone to shout out for today's race?
Well, I guess I can shout out our my friends at Flanders Esports. They've been pretty close friends of mine for a couple of weeks now, and it's great to know those guys. And yeah, I mean, what can I say? They're a great group of friends. I'm happy to be part of it as well. And yeah,
Well, amazing race today, mate, and hopefully next week an overall win might be in hand for you, but we'll figure that out next Friday. But for now, thank you for driving with us today, and thank you for doing the final lap for Carl Busch at the end.
yeah, no worries. Thank you guys as well.
Well, from a runner-up to a P10 in the GT field, we have. Is it? How do you say your first and last name, please, sir?
Well, in Dutch we say Janus van Parijs. But if you make it like sound a bit more English, then that's all good for me.
Because I went Janice. Because now that sounds
We were in
completely
France.
wrong.
In our defense, we were in France. So, pardon.
I'm very bad with names, so please excuse me.
No, it's all good, mate.
So how did you feel today? You were driving the V8 Aston. I think you got contacted by a back marker through the first sector, going a few corners before the back straight, which was highly unfortunate. And luckily, you got the car turned back around and got going again. But apart from that, how was your race today? Did you enjoy the
Um,
car? The temps maybe was a bit high.
it was a very interesting race. First time for me driving with such high temps and such high tire degradation. But I enjoyed, of course, with the guys at Flanders Esports on the call. It's always fun. And so yeah, it sucks from the incident. I also happened to get 2 drive-throughs, but yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed today. Yeah.
Well, 2 drive-throughs in the P10 is not bad going, to be honest. I did see one, and I thought I did see a second one, but was that just down to the track limits? I think was it. I believe we saw a
Yeah, yeah,
driver cut a whole corner in the first
yeah.
section.
That was me.
That was you, and
No,
and
no,
out of curiosity, I said Jesse doesn't know the penalties as such in LMU like I do because I've had a few. How many penalty points did it give you for cutting that?
it was just a straight drive-through. So I
Oh,
went out on cold tires, missed my braking point, went deep, and then I had to cut the chicane, and then it was just an instant drive-through, and then I got the
oh.
second one because of like the 3 penalty points I could get.
Straight drive through. I thought it was going to be a two because I've had the same thing when I was driving the hypercar Peugeot for the team champ, but it was red because I went straight, whereas you followed the corner as such on the inside, and I got my brake. I had to basically stop in the middle, so I didn't get a drive through or anything worse. So yeah, that's very unfortunate. I mean, I never knew that would be that serious because in ACC you cut it, you just slow down enough and it will knock it off. But LMU is pretty harsh on its penalties. But I mean,
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it either. Thought it was going to be just a harsh,
yeah,
harsh penalty, not a drive-through, man.
that's what I thought as well. But very unfortunate. But still, P10 overall, very well done in the VA. What's your thoughts going into Imola in the wet conditions?
Well, yeah, I'm very excited for it because I haven't really done that much races in the rain. Um, so I hope I can get some good practice in and put a nice result in there.
Well done for racing today. Jesse, do you have anything to say to this lovely person?
Well, yeah, and I just want to say, way to stick with it. I've been there, had multiple penalties in a race, and it's just, it's a struggle some days, but in the end, it's a top 10, and you move on. And luckily, we don't have to race at Paul Ricard next week. A new challenge, maybe less opportunity for track cuts. I do have one question though. You were in the thick of it as far as traffic is concerned with the hypercars and racing your own class, et cetera, and so forth. What was it like from your perspective being in the middle of the hornet's nest, racing both sides essentially when it got hectic? What was that like for you out there today at Paul Ricard?
It was like chaos, but like structured chaos, you know? Because of course you have all those cars from your class around you, and you also have the hypercars coming through, and it's a lot to process. But of course, in leagues like this, you trust the drivers around you. You know that they'll make the good decisions, and it also makes it fun for me. Like the extra challenge of maneuvering yourself around the traffic.
Well, trust is absolutely what was on order today, 3 and 4 wide in some of the tightest parts of the racetrack. Even not, I mean, forget the Mistral Straight. There, some of you guys were 3 and 4 wide in the S's and in hotel. Like it was crazy. But you mentioned trust, and I think that is what allows a lot of that, and just well held by most of the fields when it came to that today. Ian, thank you for coming to talk to us. Anybody you want to shout out before we leave?
Well, yeah, of course, my entire team of Flanders Esports. This is the first ever championship and the first races that I do for them, and well, I've enjoyed every single second so far. Talking with them while racing, providing each other setups and stuff. Yeah, it's really nice. So big shout out to them.
Well, there you go. Everyone, 10th place in the LMGT3 field today, Jan Van Pettis, but looking to improve upon that next time. No doubt they will. Jan, thank you for coming and talking to us. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you guys for commentating. See ya.
Absolutely. Well, interviews concluded. special guest in the box, special guest for this week anyway. Jack Mays has joined us. Jack, it was an emotional day at Paul Ricard. Of course, with the news yesterday, but today, just a lot of love from the international motorsports community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never easy to lose, somebody who has had such an impact across, generations of racing drivers and racing fans. It was wonderful to see. The few times I peeked in throughout the stream, everybody sort of showing their support, having good liveries on the field, the lap of honor at the end, even though it was cut a bit short. But wonderful to see. One of the great things about this community and so many other communities is everybody wants to do their part to show support and show honor where it's deserved. So it's wonderful to see that, and wonderful to make a quick cameo at the end because you guys are so gracious to let me be here. And I must say, Jesse, wonderful to have you back in the box. This, ladies and gentlemen, in case it wasn't made clear earlier in the stream, this was the special guest I was alluding to since last week. Just want to get that clear.
I thought it was Ted. I thought Ted was the special guest.
Oh.
No.
Ah.
Absolutely not.
Ted's my special guest.
All of everybody here is special. Some more.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Well,
I'm fully aware.
Mr. Mays,
Sorry.
we have the results. Obviously, the server closed, so I didn't get the proper results to show on screen. But you might have them at hand if you would like to read them out.
Absolutely, I would love to do the honors. We'll run through the top 5 in each field, starting with the hypercars. It was Eduardo Diego Comey who took the victory. Pete. First 2 rounds go to them in this series. Clay in second. Of course, we spoke with them earlier on. Martin Vaselli having a better result than last week in third. Zeno Vandrisha as well, much better result than at Spa in the BMW. And Milan van der Vecken rounding out the top 5 in hypercar. In GT3, Christoph Verstappen, the mighty Mustang, back at the top. I'm sure pleasing those of a certain Ted Edwards name. Rune Enzempamber finished in second, not quite being able to catch up to Verstappen in the closing moments. Matt Townsend in third, Klaus Nyring in fourth, and Emma Plate showing that off the back of the impressive drive in the 488 Challenge car on the Cup Car Cup, I think the 296 is really speaking to them because they are in the top 5 this week. Gentlemen, I will let you bring this thing to a close. Thank you for letting me. Just to be clear, this is so I could keep up for all the folks at home, this is so I could keep up what I've determined to be a 5-month appearance streak on an RCI stream. I have not missed being in the box even for a couple of moments, and I wanted to keep that alive, and I managed to arrive home in time. So thank you both for being gracious to letting me show up and take them out, boys.
Yeah. Thank you, Jack Mays. Of course, next broadcast on RCI TV, the continuation of the Mini British GT Championship, the final ACC Championship, potentially here on RCI TV. That on Monday. Normal service resumed next Friday for continuing coverage of the LMU Multi Sprint Championship Round 3. And it'll go on in that order throughout the entire summer. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow over on Twitch. Thank you for all of your comments, all of your likes, your subscribes, your follows, everything that you always do. We love it. RCI literally grew out of nothing. We're rounding 4.9K subs. We'll be there sooner rather than later, and certainly be 5K at the end of the year. And that's all because of every one of you. We thank you so very much. And I just want to close out the broadcast by saying one thing. Sometimes it's hard for people that don't follow motorsport, that don't understand it, to appreciate it and understand us and why we do. But put simply, motorsport has never been just a sport. Whether it's virtual or real, we are a family. We come from all the corners of the globe. We don't speak the same language. We don't have to. Because we're drivers with passion and love for each other and the game. Motorsport is just a sport. But we are a family. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week. And until then, take care.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Get behind the wheel, let's go. Grip the road, feel the flow. Thunder roaring, steel alive. Live this dream and drive. Tires burning with gasoline. Engines scream alive tonight. Blazing past the red line. Outrun the night, won't lose this fight. Follow the road, red line for show. We're chasing taillights, don't let go. Under the stars, we'll go so far. This is who we are. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. We're chasing taillights. The miles they fade, but they don't die. Faster now, the hours fly by. Sweat and gears, hearts in sync. On the edge, on the brink. Clock ticks down, stakes are high. One mistake, we kiss